Welcome back to Open Exchange. The South African residential rental market has an estimated 1.3 million landlords managing their own properties. Now, in buying property, we tend to turn our backs on estate agents and don't take help from them in managing this asset class. Now, Michelle Dickens is founder and MD of TPN. That's a credit bureau that specializes in information for residential property investors. Morning to you, Michelle. I've never thought about this before, and I was looking at this article in Biz News by Jackie Cameron saying when people manage portfolios or have portfolios of investments, they get professionals to manage it. But when it comes to buying to let, you do it yourself. Why is it that people don't do it for them?
Well, I suppose the first thing we have to concentrate on is who these buy-to-let investors are. And the majority are what we term micro-landlords. Those are investors with less than 10 properties in their portfolio. And with less than 10 properties in your portfolio, you imagine that you could do the job yourself, especially when you've been sold the passive income dream. So put a tenant in your property and the money will just flow in on a monthly basis. Sit back and watch it come in. Yeah. Exactly. In actual fact, it doesn't quite work like that. Also, in the current market, we're sitting in a position where it's a landlord's market. So interest rates are low. You've got quality tenants out there at the moment, the best that they've been in a long time. And of course, you've also got stock shortages. So you've got a position where you've got lots of tenants but limited property. So you can pick and choose the right tenant for your property. As we've seen, interest rates have already gone up, and we've already seen a change in the behavior of our upper income tenants. And if interest rates go up again, we imagine that we're going to see a decline in downstream into the middle income earners as well. And then it becomes more interesting for landlords, and possibly you'd want to see them in a position where they are looking at estate agents to manage their portfolios at that point. What
would the estate agent do that the individual can't? If the tenant is not reliable, what does the agent do? I mean, can they be more horrible and use legal fees in a way, legal assistance in a way that the individual's unlikely to be able to?
At the end of the day, the landlord is responsible for any eviction or legal processes that are required. But landlords tend to be quite soft and emotional, and we're only human. So when a tenant comes through with a problem, we're going to take that on, and we're going to allow late payments, which will turn into partial payments, which will turn into no payments. Whereas an estate agent who's earning a commission, his bread and butter's on the line. If he doesn't get the rent in, his commission's on the line. So he's going to be a lot stronger, a lot harder on turning those tenants earlier. And the point about a tenant who doesn't pay, you need to turn their delinquency.
Delinquency, it sounds a harsh word, but I suppose that's what it is. Just pausing that discussion for a moment, how do you measure delinquency, and what is the state of delinquency in the South African market at the moment compared to, say, other periods in the cycle?
So we're at the top end of collections at the moment. We're sitting with tenants in good standing at 86%. It was slightly down in Q1, but you always expect that because of the January holiday leftovers. So we're sitting at 86%. What that means is that 71% of tenants pay their rent on time and in full. To put it in perspective, the upper end of the market, that's only 51%. Only 1 in 2 tenants in the upper end of the market are paying their rent on time and in full.
That sounds wrong. If it's the upper end of the market, you'd expect that they would pay their rent, or they're overextended.
They're overextended. So as those interest rates come up and they get pulled from other angles, car finance, microloans, other commitments, rent becomes something that they start to
other hidden things, I mean, like fees. If you're doing it for yourself, you know, you don't have fees to pay. An agent, as with a portfolio manager, there's 1 or 2%. Now, that can really affect your return after inflation.
Exactly, and it's the first cost that can be cut. Especially at the moment, if we look at our sectional title units, we've got levies that have gone up 15% in some cases per annum. We've got rates and taxes that have gone up. And in a lot of sectional title complexes, we've had special levies loaded onto landlords as well. So the first thing that can get cut, or the easiest, like insurance, the easiest that can get cut is is not necessarily the procurement, not necessarily finding the tenant and placing the tenant, but certainly managing the property on a monthly basis.
What advice would you give to someone who is thinking of buying in order to rent out?
I would say look in areas that show good yields. Look in areas where your rents are between the 3,000 and 7,000 rand per month, because those are our best performing. And look in areas where you're close to home if you're going to manage it yourself, because you don't want to be schlepping 30 kilometers to go and visit your tenant for a broken diesel or to show the property. Finding a tenant is one thing. Finding a quality tenant is what we're looking for. So it might take you 4, 5, 6 times to the property to view it before you find a quality tenant to place in the property.
What's a quality tenant, apart from him producing his income statement from the last 6 months, proving that he's got a salary?
So affordability is one thing, pay is another thing, and of course looking at what his expenses are. But looking at how he performed as a tenant in the past. So we look at, on the TPN Credit Bureau, we look at how he pays his rent on a monthly basis over the period of the lease. And you want to find a tenant who's got a paid on time status every single month for 12 months of his lease. And there are 71% of the tenants out there are doing that at the moment.
So you've got this information. That's just like gold to the whole market, isn't it? Great business for you to be in. That's Michelle Dickens, founder and managing director.